In the interior of the province of Alicante, at some 650 meters above sea level, we find Biar, a picturesque town which for centuries has blended in with its natural surroundings. Architecture, in perfect harmony with nature, is one of the main attractions. Biar is situated in the foothills of the mountains of the Sierra de Mariola and neighbours with the towns of Onil, Castalla, Sax, Villena, Cañada, El Camp de Mirra, Beneixama and Banyeres de Mariola. The population is around the 4,000 mark, and the borough covers an area of 97.9 square kilometres, half of which is forested, a wealth of great natural beauty. The winter climate is mild and summers are pleasantly warm, with welcome fresh air at night. Agriculture and craftwork have been the basis of the local economy for decades. Activities complemented and reinforced lately by a healthy growth in industry and tourism. Biar also enjoys excellent communications. We are just 45 kilometers from Alicante, and access by road is via the National 330 or the A7 motorway. Throughout history, the town of Biar has been a point of transit, a place to live and a frontier post between kingdoms, aspects which have undoubtedly left their mark on the character of the people, giving the town a unique history, rich in traditions and customs. The earliest evidence of human occupation dates back to the 3rd millennium before Christ. During the Bronze Age, the area was dotted with a number of settlements like Biar Castle, Cabezo del Cantal, or Cabeza de las Guerres. The Middle Ages marked the beginning of one of the most important periods in the town's history. Since at least the 11th century, an Andalusi settlement existed, known as Biar, situated on the route which linked Murcia with Valencia, as mentioned by Al-Idrisi in the 12th century. The choice of this area to establish a settlement was down to the ready availability of water, and etymologically speaking, the name Biar seems to come from the Arabic biyar, meaning wells. 1245 saw the incorporation of the town into the Crown of Aragon, after Qaid Musa al-Murabit surrendered to King James I. Once under the Crown of Aragon, the town formed part of the frontier with the Kingdom of Castile, established in the Biar-Busot line, as stipulated by the Treaty of Almithra, signed by the two kingdoms the previous year. In the year 1280, King Peter the Great granted the first town's charter, which, however, was not fully effective. For this reason, in 1287, King Alphonse III granted a second charter, whereby Biar became a borough governed by the laws of Valencia. The status of royal town is an indication of its importance. The modern age has brought a series of changes and transformations, with the participation of the town in the Germania's uprising. Among the outstanding events of the 18th century are the town's support of King Philip V during the Spanish War of Succession, together with the Botifler Band, or the visit of the illustrious botanist A.J. Cabanilles. The 19th and 20th centuries were times of war, including the War of the French and the Spanish Civil War, of political change with republics and dictatorships, and the transformation of Biar into a modern, hospitable and welcoming town which maintains traditions and time-honored festivals, such as the Rey Paixaro, or Moors and Christians, and strives to protect the most emblematic heritage, such as the castle, and extend local culture. Biar is one of the foremost monumental centres in the Valencian community. To walk around the historic centre is to step back in time. Crowning the town and defying the passage of time, we find Biar Castle, the construction of which dates back to the 12th century. Most outstanding are the 19-metre-high tower and the vault, formed by 8 intersecting arches. Coming down from the castle, we come to the Plaza de la Constitución, or Constitution Square, and the parish church of Our Lady of the Assumption, a 15th century building which is one of the architectural gems of the town, with its splendid facade, considered to be the earliest example of Renaissance architecture in the Valencian region. Opposite the church, we find the town hall in neoclassical style, designed in 1793 by Vicente Gascon. And alongside the town hall, the Municipal Museum, which exhibits a variety of objects related with local history, trades, crafts and customs, all in the Municipal Museum collection. Moving on, we discover arches, fountains, ancient walls. The district of San Roque is a fine example, conserving 2 magnificent gateways to the old walled town, the Arch of Jesus and the Arch of San Roque, known locally as the Gates of Castile and Xàtiva. The variety of hermitages spread over the town are a good excuse for a long stroll to visit them. In the district of San Roque, we find the hermitage in honour of the saint of the same name, which, surprisingly, is not to be found at street level and is only accessible going up a stairway through the Arch of San Roque. Nearby, we find the hermitage dedicated to Loreto, with its Baroque facade. The current site is not the original emplacement, since the beginning of the last century, when it was moved a few metres to the east to make way for the construction of a mansion. Some 200 metres from the urban centre, we find the Rosary Hermitage. The chapel, dedicated to Saint Raymond, was added in the 18th century, since when it became known as the Hermitage of the Rosary and Saint Raymond. The Hermitage of St. Lucia, in the district of the same name, was built at the time of the earliest military settlements by King James I during the conquest of Biar. In the rural district of El Ravalet, the visitor will find the hermitage dedicated to the saints of stone, Abdon and Senen. This is 1 kilometre from the town, but well worth a visit. Set into a hillside and next to the Fanekaies Bridge, this spot offers a splendid panoramic view of the town of Biar and its castle. Outside the town, there are other architectural gems to be seen, like the Gothic aqueduct used for the irrigation water supply. Right at the other end of the town, we find the sanctuary of Our Lady of Grace, built in the 18th century in one of Biar's most beautiful enclaves. And the inside is just as splendid as the surrounding area. A leisure area prepared for visitors to make the most of nature. Near the sanctuary, we find one of the most singular constructions in the area, a snow well, dating back to the 18th century. A perfectly preserved ice chamber where snow was accumulated and compacted into ice during the winter for use in the following summer. Nowadays, however, used for display purposes. Practically half of the borough of Biar is covered by woodland, making for a truly rich landscape. In the mountains, with their extensive pine groves, we find an abundance of typical Mediterranean vegetation, including a variety of aromatic herbs. The location of the mountain of Biar makes it ideal for a range of outdoor activities. For lovers of hill walking, the areas of the Aula de Naturaleza, Les Fontanelles, El Reconco and Peña Tallá are most popular, and access from the town to all these spots is easy via the various routes that have been mapped out. Colour, history and tradition are the keynote of our local festivals. January sees the celebration of the festival of the Rey Paixaro in honour of Saint Antonio Abad. The origins date back to the Middle Ages and represent a pagan festival which is the incarnation of the ancient custom of collecting agricultural taxes from the Moorish settlements before their expulsion. The typical animal blessings mix in with the adoration of this singular monarchical figure.
Es falsa ver al públic, según únic costum, que a continuació l'acordar. Demà a la 1 la replega. Vítola Sant Antoni! Vítola Sant Antoni! Vítola Sant Antoni!
The month of May brings the foremost festive event in the local calendar. The 10th to the 13th of May heralds the celebration of the festivals of Moors and Christians, one of the most ancient and unique versions of these festivals in the Valencian region. We commemorate the struggles between the Moorish forces and the troops loyal to King James I, the Conqueror, in the year 1245, which, with the taking of Biar, marked the frontier with the Kingdom of Castile.
Decís cosas que me enfadan, los de aquí os despreciarán.
Y de vuestro hogar amado saldrá doliente un gemido, que exhalarán pavosas luchando afanes prodigios. Al morir, vuestras esposas callando, salvad sus hijos.
Ponedme a mí, villano, que entregue manso el castillo a un infame, a un ruin y vil caudillo, yo, potencia cristiana.
The night of the 10th sees the lighting of hundreds of bonfires in the countryside surrounding the town. This is how local people celebrate the descent of the patroness. When the Virgin of Grace is brought down from her sanctuary on the shoulders of local youngsters to the Church of Our Lady of the Assumption. Another unique moment takes place on the 11th of May. The so-called Spies' Ball reminds us of how Moors, in disguise, lay in wait for the Christians. The Muhammad is also brought out and carried up to the castle. This larger-than-life figure represents the Muslim band and has the peculiarity of being shared with the neighbouring town of Vienna. The onset of summer brings a variety of festivals to the different districts of the town. Biar celebrates the Cholera Festival on the 13th of July to give thanks for having rid the town of this scourge years before. And the festivals in honour of the saints of stone, Abdon and Senen, take place on the 30th of June. The festival of San Roque is celebrated on the 16th of June at the hermitage bearing his name. The main peculiarity is that the central mass is given from the window of the hermitage, which is not located at street level. The festivals in honour of Saint Raymond take place on the 31st of August and are centred on the hermitage bearing his name. The so-called Festeta de Settembre is celebrated on the 3rd and 4th of September, when the Virgin is brought down from the sanctuary in a pilgrimage marked by joy and devotion. The Virgin of Loreto is venerated on the 8th of September. A date which also heralds the arrival of Mohammed after spending the last 4 months in Vienna. One of the factors common to all these celebrations are the games and dances which are held, such as the dance of Les Parandes. The cultural activity of Biar is centered on the cultural center. Housed in the old convent of the Barefoot Capuchins, dating back to the second half of the 18th century. Sporting life for the town has its base at the Municipal Sports Centre, with facilities to take part in a wide range of sports all year round. Tourists will find a variety of options in accommodation. A varied and wide range of hotels and holiday cottages spread all over the borough. And for those in search of closer contact with nature, there are several camping areas and hostels to be found in the countryside. Biar also offers a diverse array of eating places for visitors to sample some of the typical local dishes. Aromatic herbs are ever present in traditional cooking here. A good example is the gazpacho with rabbit or hare, with the special touch of local herbs like pebrilla, a variety of thyme. There is also an age-old tradition in homemade nougat and confectionery, with such delights as sugared almonds, rosemary honey, and aniseed and eau de vie pastries. But tradition and crafts